U.S. caught off guard from cyber attacks. Almost 200 companies hacked by Russia. Federal agencies say employers can force employees to give vaccine. Half of the states in the United States want to prioritize minorities for the vaccine. Second stimulus checks. What will happen? But welcome to the Caballero Report. And let's get straight into it, starting with our first article here. U.S. government caught blindsided over sophisticated cyber hack, experts say. Russia has long been viewed as a threat in cyberspace, but after one of the most successful cyber intrusions campaigns in U.S. history, questions are being raised over how the federal government was so completely blindsided by an attack many experts have seen coming. The successful hacking of multiple federal agencies and tens of thousands of individuals, federal and private entities, widely presumed to be a Russian intrusion and which federal officials warn is ongoing, managed to subvert sophisticated protections by targeting third-party software contractor SolarWinds. Russia, alongside China, North Korea, and Iran, is considered one of the pressing threats to the U.S. in multiple fields. Following the 2016 presidential election, when Russia agents launched a sweeping and sophisticated campaign designed to sway the election toward now President Trump, top federal agencies began a 4-year process designed to shore up the election and ensure this type of attack could never happen again. These officials, led by the 2-year-old Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as the CISA, largely succeeded, with Election Day seeing few security incidents. So this is actually very interesting because Russia maybe, just maybe, interfered back then in the 2016 election. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into it too deep. But what I do know for sure now is that they're meddling in a lot of different things here in the United States. And it seems like the government hasn't been able to put more of an ability to prevent this from happening again. And if we actually look at our second article, which we're going to take a look at right now, close to 200 organizations allegedly hacked by Russia cybersecurity firm. Close to 200 organizations were hacked by Russia as part of the cybersecurity attack on SolarWinds, a third-party software contractor that has compromised multiple government agencies. Bloomberg News reported. Massachusetts-based cybersecurity firm recorded Future identified 198 people that were hacked by a malicious update. Threat analyst Alan Lisa told the news outlet. 3 people familiar with the inquiry told Bloomberg that hack further compromised at least 200 victims by attempting to move in their computer networks or gain user credentials. About 18,000 SolarWinds customers received the malicious update, according to Bloomberg. Of that number, more than 1,000 experienced a malicious code ping that gave hackers further access to sensitive networks. Yep, this is still happening to this day, where we have a lot of interference. It makes sense. It only makes sense because nothing is perfect. But it's very, very curious to see that Russia and China can be so persistent to the point where they can actually break through our cybersecurity and really affect the United States, whether it's with election meddling or affecting different companies, as this report says. It's very sad to see, but all I can say is that I hope that they don't really dig into personal information regarding the U.S. citizens or anybody for that fact. It could be really dangerous and very malicious for Russia and China, North Korea, and even Iran to be able to do this. And It's crazy. It's really crazy that that's even happening. And it's sad because I feel like instead of the federal agencies and the federal government to be doing what we're about to talk about in the third article, they should be more focused on making our cybersecurity more stronger and being able to control these third parties like SolarWinds, where they were actually able to access 200 of these companies. And but instead of doing that, this is what many federal agencies are doing, and that is in this article right here. Federal agency says employers can require workers to get COVID-19 vaccine. Ridiculous. A key federal agency said this week that employers can legally require their workers to get the COVID-19 vaccine and prevent them from entering their workplaces if they refuse. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commissions, or the EEOC, in guidance issued Wednesday, said that requiring a test would not violate the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. The law bars employers from requiring medical exams such as blood tests that seek information on an employee's physical or mental condition, but the EEOC said a COVID-19 vaccine does not fall under that category. Amazing. If a vaccine is administered to an employee by an employer for protection against contracting COVID-19, the employer is not seeking information about an individual's impairment or current health status, and therefore it is not a medical examination, the commission said. There are many reasons that may explain why an employee has not been vaccinated, which may or may not be disability related, it added. Public health experts have said that they predict employers will play a key role in helping bring the nation to a critical degree of widespread immunity as vaccines become more widely available. 2 vaccines, one from Pfizer and BioNTech and another from Moderna, have already been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is anticipated to greenlight the administration of the Moderna vaccine in the coming days. Still, even with permission from EEOC, employers must be cautious about any information that may be gleaned from pre-screening questions, which the government said must be job-related and consistent with business necessities. A requirement for employees to receive the COVID-19 vaccine could play an important role in combating what experts say is an alarmingly high rate of skepticism toward the shot. And you're right. A lot of people are skeptical. I mean, just yesterday we had people passing out after getting the vaccine. We had empty syringes. This is, of course, people are going to be skeptical. Even people that aren't anti-vaxxers. Who in their right mind thinks that it's okay for your boss to tell you that you have to get the COVID vaccine? If not, you can't work here? Like, that's ridiculous. We've never had this type of policy in anything. We never had this when the flu season. We never had this for anything, really. It's only now that they're doing that. And although it says that it is not against the EEOC policy, I still don't think ethically it's right for your boss to tell you that you have to get something that's medical or something that is personal to you, or that you have to decide yourself. Think about it. How weird would it be if your medical employer says, hey, you can't come to work because you don't have your flu shot. I don't want you to get the other employer sick. Come on. Come on. It's a crazy world we're living in now. It's a crazy world. And that actually brings us to our fourth article, which is really related to this vaccine. And it's very interesting, too, that on top of employers making you get the vaccine, which is going to happen soon, trust me, is our next article right here. Every single U.S. state is being advised to consider ethnic minorities as critical groups for vaccination, with half prioritizing Black and Hispanic residents over white. Wow. Every U.S. state has been advised to consider ethnic minorities as a critical and vulnerable group in their vaccine distribution plans. According to Centers for Disease Control guidance, as a result, half of the nation's states have outlined plans that now prioritize Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous residents over white people in some way. Notice how they're all residents, but white people is white people, not white residents. As the vaccine rollout begins, according to our analysis, 25 states have committed to a focus on racial and ethnic communities as they decided which groups should be prioritized in receiving a coronavirus vaccine dose. These include New Mexico, where collaboration with Native Americans is being prioritized, California, which has committed to ensuring Black and Hispanic people have a greater access to the vaccine, and Oregon, where health officials have said that ethnic minorities would have equitable access to the shot. Some states have made even more specific plans to prioritize communities of color, with 12 states specifically mentioning efforts to partner with healthcare providers in areas with a large minority population to reach diverse populations, according to Kaiser Family Foundation. And right here, you can see a map with the states giving greater preferences to minority communities, which are colored blue, and states not giving greater preference to minority, which are colored red. Wow. I don't know if it's just me, but this feels a little bit like discrimination. And it's not discrimination towards minorities, towards Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. This feels like some sort of discrimination towards white people. And I understand that, we've had a history in America of discrimination towards the minority group, but it feels weird. It feels weird that we have to be prioritized for the vaccine. Why do we have to be prioritized? What's different between us and white people? We both can get sick. So that's definitely not the problem. I don't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me that minorities would be prioritized over this. I understand if it's because of income or if it's because of it's less access if they don't have medical insurance and stuff like that. But there are poor white people. There are poor Asian people. There's poor people in every category, as there are rich Black people and rich Hispanic people. So to kind of prioritize based off race, something feels wrong about that. It just feels icky. And I don't know. It's just something weird right there. Something, food for thought. Food for thought. That actually leads us to our fifth article right here. And with enough talk about the vaccine, let's talk about something else. Coronavirus relief deal hinges on talks over Fed lending powers. Yes, they are talking about giving us a second stimulus check. Ooh, one can hope, huh? Congressional leaders are aiming to reach a deal Sunday on a coronavirus relief package, but their success depends on negotiations between Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer and Senator Pat Toomey over the Federal Reserve's lending powers. Leaders hope to attach the COVID-19 relief package to a $1.4 trillion year-end spending bill and bring to an end the 2020 legislative session in time for lawmakers to return home for Christmas. The major issues that bogged down talks over a new COVID-19 relief package for much of this year, such as whether to provide large amounts of money to state and local governments and how much to spend on federal supplemental unemployment insurance, are resolved. The potential deal is now stuck on a disagreement between Republicans and Democrats over the special lending powers granted to the Federal Reserve in the CARES Act, which Congress passed in March. Senator Pat Toomey who is poised to become the next chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, wants language to wind down the Fed's credit lending facilities. Toomey met Saturday afternoon with Senator Tom Cotton and Schumer in the leader's Capitol office to hash out a compromise. I think that we should be able to get a deal done, Toomey told reporters after the meeting. The two sides agreed to exchange written proposals Saturday evening in order to hammer out the details, which is turning into a tricky task. Schumer sounded a more pessimistic tone shortly before a 6 p.m. vote. We're sending offers back and forth, but I don't know, he said. We'll see what his offer is. Schumer said Toomey's proposal goes way beyond what Democrats are comfortable with and expressed concern that there hasn't been more congressional study of the issue. We're trying, but this is a new thing, and what they ask for goes way beyond. It's the kind of thing that should have a strong legislative discussion, he said. We're doing our best to pass this bill. Interesting. Very, very interesting. One can hope. One can hope. You know, everybody needs some money right now, and a lot of people are struggling because of this whole pandemic. And this stimulus bill that supposedly was promised a long time ago would have really been beneficial back then. And I mean, hey, money is money, and if we all get a check, why not? But so far, we just gotta wait. Hopefully this doesn't turn into another, oh, we're gonna get a stimulus bill out, but then 6 months pass and we're just here like, oh, when is our money coming? When is our money coming? Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but we've been disappointed before. So this really has been some of the more interesting news today. I know I haven't been able to get to a lot today because a lot of things actually happen. I will link these articles in the description, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm really hoping that y'all are being able to learn some things as I am able to learn some things myself, and really experience all the crazy stuff that is happening in our world. So this has been Joshua from the Caballero Report, just reminding everyone to not take my opinions or what I think seriously, because what do I know? I'm just an idiot with an opinion. See y'all in the next one.